94.7 Asempa FM so ne Ekosiisen dwumadi no so guso awutie no ma yema asene yema mu nyina akwa. I have a full house now. Make us say regional chairman NDC Eastern Region Dr. Mark Oliver ewo eha obabe boy me de enkomo no Abremo Samson Atik Mohammed Atnase Kofi Tonto government spokesperson ono so ababe kan yansa ewo anti mama akwa bana fe yenhwe entoaso doc bibi aboko de
yakopa ndaroma
yedanyamiase demonstration ni koyi
nyame adom ya famu free Ghana ko demonstration na opie na ohoson wa na say udanyamiase that is the kind of society I wom inti enye wie ya I say disperse obi akona me want to man say me demonstration.
Generally it's been a peaceful
generally very peaceful
police for your majuma obi
conducting no
it would be handle no petition no.
Yes, I think
leaders ne koy
na aka offense papa na kasa na
mo pesa mo demand
but na obi mo kasa mo so na man pressure banti
I'm sure we meet is no mo share visiting IMF team no
okay so we also in a different story about
so the pressure
no but you could even say
oh yeah of course
the here some handle over
man saka
okay but so
ya konsunan kai kra na konsunan ye wo
atuka zo mo mfa no
oh no na to say ono na some manage ono carry they will not move from the place
akono mu nanka e pese the man
but you eventually give it up
but mudru enely hono ano my barricade someone tra
Dabi.
In the Muyu U10.
Yes.
Oh, that's
we are making sure say the beer almost direct now. Yes.
But you were impressed with Nipan appear by
very impressed. Because of anything, now was say you break it into about 4.
Yeah, no.
Yes, because now a doka so be mumu kosana.
You break record
into the breaking into 4. Into 4 no each will be our leaders idiom then numbers pa
oh yes your show videos ni be kezia monfa demonstration videos ni be into so right na omo anhwe no enhu the reporter make us say ono be putting number no over 10,000
yes exactly oh no
I said 10,000 a boss do do ana
oh I think any is
no, I mean, okay, share. No, when it was starting from a Brassport, where your Brassport area, into $10,000. Accra Stadium here 40,000.
Okay. No, 10,000. Yeah.
The minority Senawuti Maxwell Agbagba Maxwell can say minority for an answer peg number that 50,000 from estimate is a pay abano 50,000
well estimate
it's the sensation you feel. And the
instinctive estimates. We are very instinctive estimates.
At least you put it at 10,000.
Yes, 10,000. It's fair.
I appreciate it.
I think it's fair.
Very well. Atik, akwa bete say. You seem not to be okay with the 50,000 and the 10,000 figures, no?
No, I mean it's an exaggeration.
Even the 10,000?
No, 50, but 10,000, no, enough or more. 10,000 is
10,000.
Yeah, and you see, Ghana. There is this funny trend. We have a demonstration now. Now we be sending the buy in your estimate. How many people do you think people buy? So I'm going to go 100 people buy.
But even for us, it doesn't even matter.
That's the point I was about to make.
If you say only back on the buy, that is more important.
I had a friend. My name is Nuto Bibinuto. He used to be a reporter at
Nuto Bibinuto.
Oh no, to me the guys were a man demonstration. And of course, one should be in it.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes demonstrations are symbolic.
Yeah.
And Usha in political scientists will tell you that demonstration is part of what they call symbolic speech. And the idea is not so necessarily, but to be able to carry whatever message you have. I'm very much interested in the content of what they present.
Yes.
As for numbers, we can do the instinctive and scientific estimations.
Okay.
And they are really and truly and Shadan here, sir, because like Mark said, or no officer, realistically speaking, a bit more 10,000. MPs maybe so, have some weird instincts.
If you know much the cheap or depending on where you are standing.
So the number depends on where.
Oh yes, but the
geography determines the number.
Yes, because you don't have the device via. Second or third group, yeah. And
the farther away you are from the top,
and then how much you make camp
see there were 4 groups, so who were third, and we are giving 10,000. You over 4th, no, 50,000.
But I think 50 is a bit exaggerated. I mean, 50,000 meaning say a class post to overflow 10,000 which I mean that's
even 10,000. But like we have said, I think the most important thing is the message. Yeah. And that's what I want to interrogate.
Message,
I disagree with some of the comments.
Issues into original
exactly. Okay. And I've made the point earlier. My casa has some way that say to what end? That's a critical question. To what end? There should be an end game in mind. What you must say?
Yes.
Are you seeking answers? Are you seeking responses? What are they? Now, Nyomuke say the governor should resign. Knowing truly well, saying I did beat me abaso. You should resign. What are the reasons? And let me see. I want us to interrogate the reasons. Want to me and sorry in Kase, there's a problem with the exchange rate, and for which reason the governor of Bank of Ghana should resign. When you truly know, say, exchange rate determination is a function of so many elements.
Sure.
There is no watertight model or theory that best explains how exchange rates are determined. But who can literature now a big catch out some of the elements that help determine how exchange rates are arrived at. Which was here.
Yeah.
And to say the Bank of Ghana governor is responsible for the sorry state of our exchange rate now and of our city now. I mean, for me, and for which reason I think you are just being unfair.
But they are in charge of monetary policy.
Exactly. And the exchange rate, like I said, it's not only a function of monetary policy.
It's also fiscal.
In fact, very much fiscal. Because when you take any model of exchange rate determination, real income is very important and our economic growth.
Yeah.
And the Bank of Ghana, is that they are responsible? Of course, they are supposed to contribute to economic growth. But in say economy it's a fiscal side. You are not demonstrating against Ofori-Atta.
And at least minister thing common or say after occupying also next one the Occupy Finance Ministry.
The
predominant reason is the printing of money. That I think has been a more predominant.
Not the only predominant. You see.
Other reasons, but the original supply the printing.
Yes,
and they link the printing of money to inflation.
Okay. You see, when what is the effect of printing money?
Okay.
Other excessive printing of printing money there. Every Bank of Ghana they make profit from printing money. They pay via French seigniorage.
Sure.
Commercial banks pay for the printing of money.
Okay.
But when you do it excessively, what it means is that there is bigger supply and there is a huge supply of money.
I think we have to.
Sure.
Go into us. Yeah, to us. Okay. Anyway, time no.
And in America, they say, sir, accusation of say Bank of Ghana printing money, excessive printing of money, and for which reason? The effect of printing money excessively, it causes inflation and it increases the rate of inflation. And how does it happen? And they say, oh, printing it results in huge money supply. That will be in circulation.
Yes.
And once there is a lot of money, people will tell you, say, inflation anywhere and everywhere is a monetary phenomenon. Which means that system it causes prices of goods to rise. And at the general level of prices to rise. And
yes.
Now, who said the state of your inflation, what is the main driver of our current inflation.
Depreciation of the city.
And food.
And food. Yes.
Me pacho Mr. Mika, Bank of Ghana governor. And are we saying say it is because of excess supply of sikanti and eduane bo akoso? Yeah, recognize that there is a deficit in agricultural output. We agree. And it has nothing to do with the Bank of Ghana. What you are saying? I am not saying say when there is an excess or when there is an increase in money supply, inflation, but we need to you see, every economic conversation has to be situated properly.
Yeah.
Let's not take a general principle. Now I can say, that general principle the general principle exists, but in a current state, your inflation now, which is around 40%, is it due to excess money supply?
And more food inflation.
That's the main driver. And we are not saying the prices of food are costly because there's a lot of money. They be doing commerce in Sikani Krum. Now if there is excess money in circulation, why never can say Sikani Krum?
Excess is a distribution. It's a distribution issue. Excess money
and someone said the excess money now I could few people.
Exactly, it's a distribution. It's a distribution.
For excess money to have impact on inflation,
but they are talking about. If they are holding it, they just stop circulation. If they are holding it, money supply has an effect on inflation to the degree say there is a lot of circulation of currency in the local economy. Now say if there is hoarding and hedging, the word is hoarding. Let's hoard sikano CEO sika bebre printing sika bebre, but sikano ye hu sikano eshenkrofu mpaase and the minority leader. Okay, say we can Africa was like minority leader can say or say Addison printing sika bebre enu na sisi adapa ko wia e dey question mpaase no sebi
why the cancer
atu force meeting no me wasa me throw never be was coming here no or kasa na meet exactly what he said. Say excess money supply no enu na sisi adapa mo wia dey question mpaase. So how then does that have an effect on the rise in prices? Because you can say we are print your check, but Eshem Crofum Passy. You get the point. And now, Moody Sasubono, Bo Central Bank Governor, and the deputies. The other issue soon say
the main issue of he breaching the Bank of Ghana Act in the printing of the money without parliamentary approval.
Yeah, but let's take them one after the other. And so we can watch them.
Yeah, we've done that.
Brought the explanation. You can watch them, but it bears repeating. But the issue about exchange rate situation.
Sure.
Saying it is the Bank of Ghana governor and his deputies or we are responsible. So if they are responsible, then what is the role? The finance minister there, Chesa is the best we've ever had. Chesa Ken there, he's super competent. Nyomumbo number Central Bank governor and deputies. What you say? And that should tell you say there's even a deficit in understanding of some of these things and how they operate. You see, and every central bank and every monetary policy manager has a choice. We share a Bank of Ghana Act. It tells you the objects of the central bank.
Yes.
And it talks about trying to control, or ensure price stability or not control prices. Not controlling the, literal sense, young forcing crop, no. But to make sure say price levels do not go out of, range. And they must also contribute to economic development. Now, there are several routes to achieving these objects. Other central banks they choose which issues are important to them. Brazil, for example, price levels, how to ensure price stability, is the major concern of our central bank. Elsewhere, exchange rate is what they make their priority. So in Ghana, what we do is that the central bank, to achieve price stability, they engage in what they call inflation targeting. So they use a policy rate to control interest rates, so that at the end of the day, there's not so much liquidity in circulation. But elsewhere, they are saying, okay, inflation in here. We are just going to focus on exchange rate. But there is a problem because anyone can determine You take, for example, and I'm just on this occasion, this sounds a bit academic, but just to make a point, there's a theory called BOP theory on determination of exchange rate. It tells you, say, BOP deficit, balance of payment deficit, and exchange rate, when there's a surplus, now balance of payments, and yep, central bank, balance of payments, the deficit occurs when there is a difference between how much you export and how much you import. If you are importing more than you export, you are bound to have a deficit in your balance of payment position. And but you central bank governor on no catch Ghana for says the young crown and chen your but if there is that problem, young team first warning na enkobono a woman say they have a role to play, but they are not entirely responsible. And this is also a woman because of a noir. Now what the other nature say what you are trying to say is oh, they are responsible. Nti Bank of Ghana there. Omuno mama yesika semno atutua panzama esisi aje sebi. Mekrum for besi any danko no. There's no elastic room because omuna omaye. That is the finance minister they sebi. Omuho song. That's what you are trying to say.
It's not a neither nor situation.
No. If you are saying they are, if somebody is
rule will play.
You see, if you are saying inflation are cost central bank now, and Bank of Ghana is responsible. To some extent, I will agree with you. Say that's their purview. They are supposed to manage prices and our price levels.
Yes.
And to say our cost right, we can say then na moye and then na SMU ya manye and amana kodusa. We can have that conversation. But idea, in fact, this BOP model on price on exchange rate determination, it tells you say they are very emphatic. Say exchange rate is autonomous to internal prices. Just how you determine exchange rate, it has nothing to do with internal prices. There are of course other models like the purchasing power price, but the nuclear have been discredited. But I'm just saying that if you take some models in the literature to explain that baby nienti ayakodu subuano kesino the Ministry of Finance. And I have said from the beginning that you need any watertight model. I can say when obiaja tum say that is what you use to explain exchange rates and to determine exchange rates. But I'm saying is that and you subuano there are some key elements that keep appearing in most of these models that people use to explain the determination of exchange rate. And central bank cannot be held responsible for all those elements. That is one on the exchange rate issue. The second issue is the printing. They are, mutually reinforcing. Because asset is one point and they keep, separating it. You also say same printing of money, no. And what tiamra sebi obi una uye soon to be esquire. Obi tiamra, what do? Do you correct it through a demonstration? You can vindicate a claim in court.
Sure.
What stops? And you see, what makes it ironical? And they say, yes, MPs.
Yes.
And they know, and they know so be tiamra, kwaya said in the faso. And the Bank of Ghana, ignoring the explanation they give, is subject to our laws. Obi ni Ghana ha. Also seeing Yemrano. In fact, the very existence of the Bank of Ghana is a function of law. It's the act of the bank that sets it up.
Yes.
It is a function of law.
Yeah, but what they are saying is the Bank of Ghana Act prescribed punishment for breaching the act,
which is
I think a term of imprisonment of not more than 2 years or a fine or both.
So why
they say once a criminal, the person who has to initiate it, the Attorney General, which might not happen until they are petitioning the special prosecutor.
No, you see, what I didn't hear you. Say already you have prejudged the actions of the Attorney General. One for a petition go on where say assume see why Sebi obi committee crime who complainant no. Do you always know say this is the action of the police before it's going to be the action? Do you always you can say foresee the action of the police before you do the complaint.
No.
Maybe. Your complaint no interest or obey who be an answer on who be. But in any event, the Bank of Ghana governor now catch you the circumstances under which they can do that. The circumstances were permissible by the very act you are referring to. When you misread the act and you read it in, hey, me bro, if you don't read it completely, what you must say, you tend to have wrong appreciation of the act. Act to not trade the circumstances under which you can exceed some limits.
Yes.
What you must say?
Yes.
And omache and they are claiming say they've done that. If you have a counter claim and you feel say your is huge and that they've breached the law, then it's a way. At least, at the very least,
petition the AG.
It's fantastic. Maninya na adwin say minya hu bibi and let Ghanaians, take him on. But when you have bibi sir, you have already prejudged the actions of the Attorney General. And you are proceeding on that basis to pronounce them guilty because you they have breached too. They have not alleged a breach. They have actually insisted said they have breached, which means they are already case no way. And to way case now, that's the reason why they don't have need for the Attorney General's intervention because what you say. And the other issues they have raised, and they say, of course, they made reference to some of the decisions they took, which resulted in the negative, equity position. And Bank of Ghana, we have had that discussion. Minyanti Obia, Wababontia say explanation of Omamano and Yanukra. The propaganda value of like getting the numbers. When you hear numbers, sometimes they can sound a bit frightening. But explanation now. A teaching what ya now two boy you would appreciate said wentina ebaye. And that's why I'm saying said some of the problems are Bank of Ghana nyayen. They got those problems because they were trying to rescue an alien, in fact a dying economy. And I keep saying say why Ministry of Finance they ran this country to a point they na year rescue. And Bank of Ghana had the choice to say, look, we are autonomous. Yeah, intervention, but our mine economy no go. It will affect them also. Now, our mining in Sri Lanka, they did not have the buffers a central bank had. Until they couldn't help rescue their economy. No. But yeah, central bank, they had those buffers, and that is why when they talk about our international reserves going down, I say I'm on for tears in India, Eban, sir. And you say all of a sudden, interventions were made to rescue a dying economy. What was here? And they gave specifics. For example, the pictures of the COVID bonds. What was here? And almost our bonds, we are ma uncrofu ponksi, almost when the Ministry of Finance was giving people the domestic debt restructuring. Ponks na yema uncrofu almost so it affected my equity position. And at Diana, I was worried about and say, hey, is this the first time we're having such and recording such a situation? Say Bank of Ghana is having a negative equity. I see this is not the first time, but we have always recovered. And that near even the IMF gave them the go ahead. And yes, almost sorry, preoccupy. Oh, yeah, Ministry of Finance. They had to do consultations to be sure, say, your economy now. And it won't get to a point that central bank itself will be, in dire straits and will be up the creek. They had consultations with the Ministry of Finance and the IMF. And the IMF no more they go ahead say, Muya, you will not be in trouble. Even though, of course, temporarily you might record some negative positions, but you have the capacity to recover. And indeed, that's the conversation. I mean, we should have the conversation. What is the road to recovery as far as the role of the central bank in our economic recovery is concerned?
The minority thinks part of that road to recovery, is for the governor and his deputies to resign.
How is that a road to recovery? No, maybe so. It might be rhetorical, but how does that ensure? How?
Maybe when there are new faces there, things would.
No, when there are new faces, the negative equity position would immediately become positive. Me boy. And yes, sir. And what is conveniently, you see, me be Kasembi.
Now, oh, yeah, the one who is here, mammy.
Hey, where dear, come on.
No, some of the question about
okay. And then my info will be answered. Another issue, I found it interesting, and this is for so much year. Me, I am an advocate of demonstrations. My year, but you see, any demonstration beyond me support you. Sometimes when the message changes, I don't support all kinds of demonstrations. And I'll tell you today, now I'm a member of Let My Vote Count. In fact, we were the pioneers.
Okay.
But when the focus shifted from the collective good to some personal interest, I withdrew.
Okay.
It's the same way. What was our demonstration way? It is very much our personal interest than the collective.
Demonstration there ended here.
Me catch up.
OccupyBoG, you know.
Me ba nyabutre. Oh, me who the TV.
Okay.
Obet nyabutre.
Okay.
Did you hear in all of these conversations?
Yes.
Did you hear anything about the infrastructure and the edifice the Bank of Ghana was trying to put up?
We stood there for 1 hour standstill. It is part of it.
New head office.
Yes.
Okay.
No. It is part of it.
I think you have your answer.
Did anybody speak to that issue?
Yes. Okujeto spoke to it. Fifi Kwete spoke.
No, don't say everybody. I listened to Atufosin.
Okay.
He never spoke about it.
Atufosin are more head of his body.
Yes.
But he said Okujeto did.
Now
you make progress.
Symbolically, close to 2 hours.
Very
well. But the entire process was symbolic. You see, there are a lot of overtones to this exercise that happened today.
Underhand. Amount for interest.
Amount for interest, womb.
Hey.
What is here? And I am saying, sir, otherwise, and that look, there is information will come. What must here? Information will come, and I'm telling you, sir, I do not. Before I mean, my position, I do not for a minute support the idea. Say the Bank of Ghana governor and the deputy should resign.
Okay.
Because we should constitute the basis for their
resignation.
Uka exchange depreciation.
And then you've shot that one down.
That's one. Two. Yeah, Omako can say you can say negative equity position.
And also
and I thought they were going to speak to the building issue. But conveniently it was ignored. And Timisu conveniently ignored it. What has here? But the other issue is say when the Bank of Ghana governor and the deputies go home, what are the problems that resignation solving? Oh, all of a sudden the exchange rate will command it to rise. Yes, sir. The resignation will command the city to rise. The resignation will ensure, sir, all of a sudden the negative equity position will become positive overnight. Yes, sir. And you see, near me, yeah, and it's Atufosin was on the Bank of Ghana board.
Yes.
Your exchange rate need to tip and some to the extent that now you see if you have forex account, you could not do withdrawals in forex. Not to hope he was part of the board when one part was the governor. Did he organize any demonstration? He says one part should resign, and on one hand, did he resign from the board? The kinds of monetary outcomes are in here, and look, me can't pee. Now, quite to say you are comparing, but there were even worse situations. We did not demand the resignation of the governor. Sometimes when you allow the personal to cloud the collective, it becomes difficult for some of us to support any such cause. Because why only this is your catch your boy straining your veins and your lungs? Now to board no so under a wampa. The idea that actually was it in the best of shapes. You may say Nedia is worse, fine, but under wampa was equally not, the best.
Not good. Okay.
It got to a point where people were shutting down their forex accounts because they assume if you have a forex account, you can't do transactions in forex. What is here? And there was a run on banks as far as forex accounts went. And now it will be. And then because look, sometimes we need to look beyond. Minka say they are angels.
Very well.
But some of the points are they are not sustainable. And if we were to compare the ACN to what happened in the past, Ebia, Nyomuli di Chane no. We should be looking for them to arrest.
For them to arrest them. Okay, Mama Nancy, Kofitunto, Ebebem, na Ansana, no, I'm getting some info. We say, Obi, point of correction on our petition. We never handed over any petition to anybody at BOG because the leadership stated that by the security head of BOG trying to represent the governor, the leadership of the demonstration said that was disrespectful. A minority leadership handy over petition to the person who we are told was the head of security at BOG.
Because that's what I heard say.
Hence, we promise the head of security that we shall still come back to hand over the petition to only the governor of the Bank of Ghana, and therefore nobody else.
You are asking somebody's resignation, and you are giving him a petition. And I say, you know, move a petition. Because we did a certain demonstration. It was Nilante
Van der Poy,
who was asked to come and receive the petition on behalf of the president. We didn't have any issues with him. We handed over because the name said the manner. Once Onuna Okase Ombejino.
Or the Beko.
We had respect for the president. We did so.
Okay.
Missy Adiwe
interest and also. Kofi Akwa better saying.
Obi Mejo so before I make comments, one law and a compelling say what the petition could be. I said the man a specific person. And nothing.
Who is talking about law? What do
you mean by who's talking about law? What's it? Ubesa you
the principles of demonstration.
What's I say?
Come this way a bit.
The principles of demonstration criteria.
What's it there? What the mra and a juma what the demonstration. Doc, a man am a demonstration. 20 minutes I can't tell me say what law. And maybe anywhere what Ghana ha a cancer so the petition come be.
Yes.
Now one find my specific person. Now say demonstration in your demonstration. And he said, now one fan comma BOG Papa na.
Asempa FM.
Because he also has a right to say, and you mean maybe petition. It tells you their motive. It tells you their motive. But anyways, and so remember 7 so. You know, my Her Excellency. Teresa Kufo is it Enras Enrichi
sure
na onyane nyame frɛ na ya papa iti mensa nso enyane nyame frɛ ti ebegina ban na mu se president Akufo-Addo kra atro enhoma de kwa abonten a ɔkyekyere busua ne nyinaa rɛ na ɔka maame no na bakosem kakra ba bia ofiri ya papa JH Mensa busua mu ane ambassador say busuemu bunu ni de hye o kana sem ne sane mani nyina nti ebefa akwanya so ama abusua nyina yakọ Ghana ahwerade ofa yira 18 mensa mpo asebe eba amanyosem a yene ni nyina adwene nkoben kromo mpo no wasom oman yi anya hwe wabe minister of sports youth and sports and Sana Osabeye, Minister of Works and Housing, and Son Obeye, Mayor of Accra, and Son Obeye, Member of Parliament. To assume, as a new DBS Fatabiano, a demand. Tiabeshe, a woman Busiani na Yako, na Namia Domne, she bab abontia, ni DBS de Kuja, na Yako Edekodome Busiane, de Akodomna, Nema Akosi. Etosibio enra meko abomusu okay unu abomusu
matidino
achim abomusu
ewo Etiwa West
okay
road minister
in the constituency okay
on say abane yes STEM program bia
ehona sa model SHS schools ni bi one okay
yeah enti OBS wani it's a whole university on its own. It's a whole university on its own. Abano share say a focus on science, technology,
engineering and mathematics.
In fact, Cecil Crano, I had actually a bit changing in STEAM.
Okay.
I arts.
Okay.
And also, but so far the focus on STEM. In the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Information, a road show. More STEM, no, you can't say STEM, akwa ahorow ben na wo mu nti eno akwa omo hwe ye so we STEM na science technology engineering maths no we sa program ne bia adwuma ben
na obetimi
dia ye nti ababa wa bia ye friend shikanic
okay
oka wono mu a
ye no ka Accra London
for no nti eno a ono na omoto omo nsa friend na oba ya obechirichiri mu kwan ono nso oba obeye engineer na odebe fa so ye mechanical mechanic e man kra no examples ni ade na wo four headmasters ni ade nyina ho nti you get to see the investment abano aye in say ye building the human skills and capacity of the nation because they obey an industrialized economy nya say ade mfidie na begu ha o ya nkofo a omude san mfidie ne be den be adwuma nempo omo abetimi adwene hu oman ne ye hawa ye wone mfidie a ese ye den ye de solve yen how nti me pese mu be pemre na makoshe school no it's a whole university on its own the infrastructure there abanya ye mako enkon abomusu de ne yakohwe obadikan akobi akade aka ebedi abanyachi ni yakohwe atoso bio lastly answer my ba issues we fi di aso na sami jenfi betna ha I think so ni Eric Opokunsu kasa emebwa
Eric Opoku
ama mo ka kire yen say cocoa price aban di ama ye papa no makuafo no enye na mo betimi aka de omo nsesi omo bo say Côte d'Ivoire de omo price ba na Côte d'Ivoire for de omo price ne ba ebe bro Ghana price ne so meboa akase meboa no fi di ewe aso na sami jenfi betena ha kan na Eric Opoku so frɛ ya me kai sa da no frɛ no e ma ne so se Côte d'Ivoire for de omo price ba na price na omo de ba no ebe kyerɛ se Ghana aban asisi Ghana akuafo hwebe eno a Bloomberg a reporter Côte d'Ivoire price naba e ba ya enu Ghana price aye de man akuafo ni mpo ene na anya pempo na yakase bia so de ba sika ni mu a omu nya 1152 na Ghana akuafo nya 1308 tuti free mu a over there say 160 cedis difference per bag na Ghana akuafo nya ti me ka Ghana akuafo adwene so se ntro Eric Opoku ne Sami Jenfi any NDC as a political party too futuro bu mani sa buy na sisimo na cocoa price Côte d'Ivoire for there ba na be bro no ene abrewa yi puma kwem
obi ni aka the time no
every time
okay
abrewa yi puma kwem na obi
e ba na ka mo the topic na count e be ka cocoa e be ka oba na tenye see ono afa the
we are talking about a specific comment they made say Côte d'Ivoire for the omo price be ba no mo de ba e be sene Ghana pia for the
e be du cocoa
na me yede eno na me ka enti yanko ya asem so obi
we dey not the proper
me proper kwan obi say my buy fidie nim into me suit in the blazer
no I think
okay
it's good
Michelle blazer che
FM so
me say Michelle obi
see government spokesperson
I think me that was it inflation asem a waka no ti mean same bebre the tiene say Ghana ha ye wo mra Bank of Ghana de ye adwuma oman ne sika krabia pon a ye de asi ho se emwa na oman ne sika sem a ye chichire no NCP ne si brane ti ya twro mra ode ye na adwuma no professor mu de oye obi a wosua mra ba ko wo mu a the spirit of the act ne say se Ghana hwiegua Bank of Ghana wa asudie say Wabia or the Bema or mine na wajina brand is sending a bear or mining shield. That's what the more mine. I think maybe. And yet the spirit of Bank of Ghana Act say they must at all times take steps to protect the overall economy of the country. Send a better economy in your day and you to can act now. Section 30 that trouble for Casa be a friend of temporary advances. You seek a botinia and random Bank of Ghana say Sabino kwa here moi Fasa sika we bo wono bosia Faso wono wasene sene ebeya ahohihia no mu firi mu a ombetimi de ayeden aba beto ba bia ese den eda en wasi sika na wo de bebo mo bosia no eyese ufa afi atwa mu no sika na wo nyina de wo ukohwehweye no revenue no
yes
kaneno na ye wahamu abupan edu 10% of previous year revenue tiya papa John Mahama wo ho no na ogi sika ne bi enti obe free so no en wode mra baaye say yenya no wahamu abupan enum ti 2016 na sa mra ne baaye enya afi bia no ogi bi but evidence is there say what Jesus sika ne bi temporary advances or on multiple occasions. And then you no kwa na aban a wajibi. Yeye baye 2017. In fact, yeye mpodie ye sign agreement with Bank of Ghana, your friend of memorandum on December 25th or so. Say 2017 say ye nje sa financing ye nje say sika na ekoji free Bank of Ghana ye nyi bi. 2017 ya nyibi 2018 ya nyibi 2019 ya nyibi tiemi yo obi a wotie mi bia me pesa wote asem na se ye 2017 ya nyibi 2018 ya nyibi 2019 ya nyibi 2020 ena ye di kan GB kane na de ekoji ye no a mo friend printing of money no mami nchire mu ye friend no asset management. And I said non-marketable bonds. Bonds are your tone with Sika Gaman so the man called Foko Tobino. You could be a friend of non-marketable bonds. Non-marketable bonds nature say bonds are your shada ye and the ma buying. Yen fam ma ubi to say me a tick and now bank being Kotobi debi. A buying kwan ye hear the man. Eti a buying the memorandum echo parliament 27th of May 2020 my main kind memorandum natural now we say obesha ade ba ko ato force mu kan say aban no amfa bibia nko parliament enti omo no kra no na anu ya no mo ye den omo tie so no za te sure my main kind natural parliamentary memorandum on Bank of Ghana asset purchase program as part of COVID-19 relief bond program May 27th, 2020, submitted by Ofori-Atta, Minister of Parliament.
Minister of Finance
to Parliament. In fulfillment of the requirements of Section 30 of the Bank of Ghana Act 2002, Act 612 as amended. Wasi ye the memorandum way ba be kan kire mo say ye kwaji bosia ye friend asset management e de aboa COVID-19 or hawa ya den yakomu no enti parliament e hun krata ni min kan first comment ma wasi introduction. This parliamentary memorandum serves to submit to parliament the report on government's decision to access emergency financing from the Bank of Ghana consistent with the provisions in Section 30 of the Bank of Ghana Act 2002, Act 612 as amended. Now, we go to point 9. Point 9 in I say, summary terms of the Bank of Ghana Asset Purchase Program. Program details, COVID-19 Relief Bond Program. Program size, 10 billion Ghana cedis, tenure 10 years with 2 years moratorium, repayment amortization with after moratorium, and then interest rate floating pegged to monetary policy rate, which is the Bank of Ghana rate on the currency CD. This is a document. Minister of Finance submitted my Parliament on May 27th, 2020. On the fact say Okwaji Busia aye freno non-marketable bonds in the value of 10 billion and the abeso eye COVID hawa wenya no or the abeso na sene Ghana mrayeden e man ho kwan. Until the first time ye koje temporary advances ni bi was 2020 in the form of 10 billion. 2021 obi eno so ya anyi sika bia na bia for accounting purposes mami chirim kakra. We took 5 billion in 2021 but we repaid the entire 5 billion back. And in accounting it is still viewed as zero financing. Patwati asenti chile bi obi beka 5 billion bi chile wa no hu de ntia 2021 is still considered as zero financing because the AG here no you try on back into 2021 is zero financing. Now 2022 was the year ye G sikana dudu pa chile say abai ni sika no obedie na kohumba bosika no de ni yesusu si ebedie no na ye 133 billion Ghana cedis. Ana de na yesusu si ensabeka no 100 billion Ghana cedis. Revised value of 99.5 ya de bafom kakra. Enti abinitio no e ka na abeto akire no was 33 billion. Enti we share aban revenue projection de na ye say ebeji e-levy no hwan ni nyina was to show the international market say sa 33 billion na abeto akire no ye benya sika de ayeden atua. It typically the INC called the international euro bond market ni akoji the difference no near the aba atiko ha oni meboa pepepe basafe no the NC nam say ye nya sika gie hu achinye say e-levy we ma na international market say pa no twa no ye ni gidie say safi we ubetimi atua musika entia ne baby amobaji bosia free ho e friend euro bond market no ye ma musika afiwi tina 33 billion na aka no esa aban na eden okohwehwe baby foforo kopesa sika no ni nyina and afibia nso no aban wo bond a esa wo service na ye ka bond a de esa Ghana fo nso ti ase ni ye ka bond versus treasury bills. A very simple analysis difference in say treasury bills usually a short term ebia me ye 3 months 180 days months. Bond can go as far as 12-15 years. Enti bond na amateur abane be service ya ye nisika ye kwaji bosie free and now free Bank of Ghana ho de abeko sa akon no enye Akufo-Addo na boss abosia no. The bonds that are maturing now are not Akufo-Addo's bonds. These are old bonds, some dating back to President Kufuor time, President Mills time, President Mahama time. And yet net bonds wasn't heading yakin. Enti sa deficit ne buy na bank call Bank of Ghana ho say yakwa hu hihiemu ti yeden boyen because kan ni baby ananke be kwa bonti akwaje bosia e de abeso yasene no ya nya bi na medical ka chiro say mrashe Bank of Ghana kiti say sa ahuhihia ne ba so wo minus na wo minus kasama anya den anye enwu. Now NDC for problem omo won say one yedi kwaji sika no ya meka nkyere parliament on fact omo say yen kan kyere parliament impoda kata making kan kyere wi what is say obi abosoda what is NDC for abosoda but this is 2020 May 27th finance minister they call parliament ato force in Bejina Bontin ka say omonte hu machimpo da maminka another document in chiro and also yeah February 2023
almost
February 2023 me we are near the time ni nyina ma na de odo be ye o de aye and also ha and only a statement to Parliament on Ghana's debt exchange program. Thursday, 16th February 2023. Okay. Bullet point 52. A cancer. Ghana Parliament, and nama who here ya community no. Ye ko Bank of Ghana ho akwaji sika e de abeso yasene. E ka wa ha. Document to Parliament. So I took forcing abegina bontin.
Can was 2022 assembly.
What's it?
What we are talking about now 2022 assembly. All the 2023 document assembly.
Yeah, you can two documents. The first document I spoke about. The first document I spoke about, Messi GCCAN 2020. The document was submitted in 2020. This document we know, 2023. Busan who say mrebe na ekwaji support no. And then mrebe because we early 2023. It should tell you say we ready. Bullet 52 now make a catch now even when repayment started. Say November 2022 and a repayment of a coming natural document in our but they are not making one necessary say I think some to force you catch and say and my parliament da some of no say I want to who march parliament da neither na document we were na nunti uko jina bontin say ukoye campaign eti aban ukoye demonstration now demonstration now you say almost say omo ni how say ya bo Bank of Ghana bo ayo na mmwa na bo ayo na no ame kan kire wabumraso I don't know kan kire Ghana say sa me ma we nyina ba parliament e ma wo huye.
Okay.
You can come in. No, but me dem announce no. Okay, go ahead.
And then your muka no. Say when Bank of Ministry of Finance went for Sasikano.
See the moment make a Sunday.
No, but you have the rest of the time.
What do you say? It's not the responsibility of the central bank.
It's not
to do the reporting to Parliament.
It's not.
Yeah, it's the
their
finance
job
ministry.
ends after the meeting to decide the limit.
Sure.
And this is, you see, why are they dodging the?
That anyway, is well made.
Anyways, lastly, all the time in Nama. Doctor,
Chairman,
yeah, sorry, I call no akasa. Let the record show.
Okay.
Let the record show. So inflation you go through right now, no, it has nothing to do with printing of money. But the caricature said the first supported by anybody saying 2020 in 10 billion. 2020 experiencing inflationary issues. In fact, inflationary issues I experiencing in the third quarter 2022. It was the first week of October 2022, and that sharp depreciation of 4 cedis decline in 3 days.
Yeah.
That week, no, and the Diane was starting course. And you busa market women say, I don't know, mamma, papa, more to money, and women almost say that she be almost a crabia. So when you see a button be too high, inflation started here October 2022, first week of October.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with printing of money because
at our next meeting, I'll bring the data on money supply over the last 10 years. And Nuna, you'll be able to tell if there is a trend and the relationship between that and inflation.
And lastly, lastly, for the record, let it be stated. Says I'm buying some mine as cinema mine one here more.
Bank of Ghana.
To say the Netherlands. To say the Netherlands. Bank of the Netherlands. Sika botany ko ayebi. To say the UK ayebi. To say the Singapore ayebi na. Is not coterminous Sami Jenfibrofo to mismanagement. It is never coterminous to mismanagement.
Demonstration I no I disagree with Miniatic
Asempa FM
as Obeka said this particular demonstration whether its objects or ni team no ana ni ayigina so fapem adi pie ye no ewo ne kwan so anase eni ne kwan so. I will come to that, but I think him and why demonstration be brave. As a demonstration in your bar, people who also have related issues to raise with government and when their money are doing no will be also a join EPA and untino will be a economy no essay man in the Juma essay and they who take advantage and also or the placard beba and the baba bachelor friends are buying. And untino it is normal protests like this are normally vehicles for citizens, you know, to vent and to also express a nema how you know a far economy, no? And this particular demonstration achieved that particular success, no? And omo babonte babe kasai ebe chire omadweni adina no yeda omase. And in terms of impact, sabe demonstration impact is not measured by say abayane say watoka and I say ebia nipa na o demonstrate a chere wa sorry free baby a wote ho no and I say waje atum so obeko and I say onko. That is not the essence. It is to raise awareness amanfo ehu issues no amanfo ehu say niema ekoso emie say nipa no ebeji atum na wabu ne ho aka se me credibility nti nia ekoso nyina majamadwuma to ho ne ade. It is left to him. Hey, on a decision I will be taken, and that does not necessarily mean that with demonstration now call no that is not a way of measuring the impact of demonstration. Now, what are we talking about? Generally, about we buy they are working with a certain economic model. Name a friend of LBTP.
It almost sounds like
LBTP.
Hey, I see.
That is they lie, borrow, tax, and print money.
Hey,
that is the economic model. This LBTP. Yes.
Lie,
borrow, tax, and print.
Ah, okay.
That is what this government economic model are all running, and it is a very lazy way of running the economy, especially when Omo Eba Abemu they had campaigned on the ground say Omo competency area and the management of the economy, and that when people go about borrowing, people go about taxing, people go about printing money, it is a very lazy way. I will be now. So me a economist, a finance person, would be Ministry of Finance. And I said, would be in charge of the economic management. Who bet me iron easy because what the NSL bad, what the NSL bad, didn't truck a crack. Nothing or economy no, and yet, and their mamu yet, and their dubina seno. Into the young concourse, no, the Agnas young Bessia. If you Bessiano, a baba bed with him. Ugusu Bob Bessiana, man for a cup. Bessia will weigh a bad you, so Bessiano. Also, you have room for more borrowing. You acquired them baby room for more borrowing. Yet to me, call your economy of Bessiana, my cry, bad near about the top party. Oh, yeah, my Bessia, then we are happy. So I said, that people. Seven tik money more my come here dear first channel, then they'll be prompting. Me and never be a more then not almost the borrowing a crumple crada a home. I feel good baby so much at then they move from the borrowing to tax. And to all manner of taxes, all manner of sanitary parts. I'm not for Guso and demonstration. I could not for kita sanitary parts. Yes, we have money be kita sanitary parts. So almost anything taxable. Bibi bia waiting here a taxi bia or memu haseno. Gye as I deal with what I say be ye. Now omode tax akwa Guso. Meanwhile, we had been promised you move from the area of taxation to the area of production. What that meant, maybe in the Minyanti. But ya taxi, and then you know, and then finally when BBS yentimi yahu yenhwe said minia Kofi admittedly ekasa of your man na ebo your last resort any friends central bank no and say I was say omo print sika e de eba boy. You see na minia atik, yes, I respect his competence in that
economics
exactly. But minia ednim say BOP model, that is the balance of payment model. I mean, BOP model, that is not the only factors that affect the exchange rate. Yes, as an exchange rate, yes, BOP restricts itself to balance of payment. Enti ndiamadodoa ode kwa mana ne akwakoton ni awoso woto eti no se wo dia wo ton no sika no doso a na se wunya ni omo fa no reserves wo reserves na e wo soro then na amawa wo sidi no e hwa yeden in the opposite se ni wo ton no e bro ni a wo ton na amawa sika no hwa yemre. So that is a way of explaining how exchange rates no etimi ahode etimi cost and say ahode etimi kofum. But that is not the only factors. And economists behavioral science, it responds to amount for sentiment apart from the functional factors to say your friends say wakoto ade no maton sika aka nie me reserve nie ene ho ne mane ade no amount for so a sentiment count a lot, and the market responds to signals. Baby, I make say people were asking, say no, because I say it ye friends say Addison idea. That doesn't mean say all of a sudden our negative we friends say balance no e show up now. You see what overprinting like this does is that it affects the credibility of your central bank. It affects the credibility of your central bank, and when the credibility of your central bank is affected, that investor confidence omo di sika be ba womanum eso omo de baba boa ababa be si ababa ye adwuma ene ho ne omo de oh no omo de omo sika be ba ne ho ne ma ne adi na no obi ani ho de be ba. Nobody will want to deal with a central banker. Sebe. This is kind of hata ye twagum. Nobody want to deal with a central bank like that. If and a brea tamana MPP for na bi ne Ghana for ka say Ofori-Atta or resign. Now, man for business and no resign. That doesn't mean that economy now on track. No, that is also one of the things I said. Signaling is very important. The signal that goes to the investor community for them to have confidence. Or before Fraba, this person may have a new directional or person or pushy and near my echo. It know they say yeah, be a secret free. A friend saying economy no krompa because one of the and nema aha economy way aya man for omo twom sika free economy no investors are omo AD investor. And in fact I tell you say haircut e buy say ohwa omo contribute to SNET na omo contribute to tier 2 tier 3 time tier 3 trust your friends fund managers no hemorrhage account no amount for a withdraw on musika. No, I'm feeling for my withdraw. You understand? Tier 2 no there because by law would be outside say pension it is there. But tier 3 fund managers amount for almost a musika a free just because confidence in the system and the only person who says musika no it is worth more than at the bank. because osro haircut and ho dem money ade eluti no say aban yes in principle yes say aban kwa ho hia mu a there must be an intervention agreed because obi am person obehwa ma your friends oman na bo admittedly now MPP for ajetum say ya go into economic crisis. Then there are processes for such interventions to happen. And yet automatic system say abaining here security no wakona ya printed the amano. And a report does not constitute because it can we no baba bejena wo de aka friends wadwuma wo ye ho. So it must go through approval. Yeni ayem say and say beyond 5%. Now if there is a reason why you should go beyond that, you don't come to parliament with a report and say my report to the Aba. I will say that a report does not constitute approval. And you to the first say who say or report to be say yes plan somebody sikabi and I say then they are reporting in a particular report, then you think say it constitutes a proper request and approval. These are two different things. And you say a breach sa because yes, you said there must be an intervention, but because you need say aban bi to say MPP aban, a bit me are reckless. Akwa Bank of Ghana say mon print sika ma me na me fa nya nya me pe. And you na ye de sa no ato ho. E say ye be discipline in the way ye de sa sika no e be adwuma. And you know say if there is a crisis, a national crisis, now I was say a very sa emrano, and I say ye ma kwan ma wutimi e go beyond esa ojena. You go to parliament. Say the okwakobo besia is say besia na okobo. So like any besia bia na okwakobo no, I was say parliament e ya we. Na parliament ejitum ansa na okwakobo yi. And you know, and you be the time friends Addison me wonya mabusuani onye minimba bi ofiri ba ya de ba be she ho ena ye ofiri ho sisi ya enya me kofi na bebo midin se me nkonkoye Bank of Ghana governor bigiri se aban na woso ne yi na obebo obidin but sebe ye fan se wo ye company na kana se company Ghana company ye wodea
Asempa FM
on the normal note, even without a friends and any note bia but your financial statement but now bottom lines a negative. Now say we company owner and now say we director of a company. Now say paper number now say bottom line no. Your bottom lines are negative, far deep negative, and you just ordinary negative. I hang it. I can say, oh, when they bet me, I correct you know, because what this thing does is that future government, or even denying future government possible interventions. And let's say I agree, say, yeah, plenty infinitely. And you know the effect of sika plenty and then when the money on, and I disagree. As I said, more printing does not affect inflation. I disagree totally.
It does, but not this inflation.
Exactly.
But don't you see, because you are looking for direct determinants. Because you are looking for direct determinant to say, who say this particular friends
money supply,
a lot of other things happen. And some of us about the inflationary effects. A lot of other things happen. I said about the inflationary effect. Everything is Saturday. I don't cry 2020 na 5 billion too, but inflation is started. And yet just an automatic response system. A lot of things happen. And so when you say inflationary effect, everything your best. For now, the credibility of the central bank is in tatters.
Under siege.
I take notes. So I say, I take notes. And one of the things I bet you amount for any confidence. I say, well, Ebiana and Papa no honintino. there is a fiscal bully and also a monetary bully from those on the fiscal side. So what I say, and you know, so no more ba ka say masa ade no ye sika ye sika say ni ade a ebia ontimi nyina le so the na so ka say mon find other fiscal remedies rather than always coming to seek for monetary solutions for fiscal problems,
even when it's clear say but for that intervention like economy ni na be collapse no.
Anybody can make a case for that. Anybody there 1% omo na ya no ka say thinking out of the box and no one money ade obi bia obeso make a rationalization for monetary intervention no, can easily create a friends and a rule for it, no excuse no for it. So what I make say, but if you have a truly independent central bank, I say what the bank no hwe obi hu say no asema we can e bia we betimi use other fiscal offense. You can look for fiscal solutions for it. It will the monetary we need the last resort cry say you say you need other physical you need other physical way then we come in.
Maybe in that case no money in the
but you see a binary brabo does not show because a binary brabo does not show.
So no money in the other
a binary brabo now or bono does not show from the capital but you see look at
they make the point about expenditure.
Yes, look at the expenditure of a binary. Exactly, so that's what I'm talking about. But bono ensure say what I need to hear you say you say you from
that's not the case.
No. What you say what Udi fried rice.
Udi peche.
So just say I'm not now te. Na that be that say o kan ni o kan for didi but we are ban kwai. So just say
o kan for the amane. O kan for didi amane ban kwai.
Na de.
Amane. But enema aban we e koso. So just say because look at the when we are discussing about priorities. And near my son would this kind of the arrogance of responding to us. So that I say and for example a big national cathedral assembly. You see who spend so much at the quadrigate a whole national cathedral
all fiscal funds.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying is say you the friends and the governor you must be independent and strong. To say seven. There are other places I'm moving to Addison. Because we know what since the other Pansika, here come the patrol. Since the other Pansika, here come dear. I'm out for a critical film passy. What catch us on my way? No, who want to believe you?
This is the other Pansika. No, we establishes a name free bank of that.
By sika o manu etu kasa o manu sika ni o manu mu nobody want to understand abana brabo a obo no abana abrabo na obo no it does not explain mentia here some monetary intervention.
We're not in crisis.
Of course, no. Na bana wa budget to. Anya ne ya. If you go to my kasa,
crisis the 2022 budget.
Crisis your magiatu.
Ese atom them.
Yes.
Una send your maka.
Ada Dr. Baumia ne friends ada Kwakufu.
Minister of Finance Ajatum.
And
Rebecca is in the budget statement.
Under Dr. Baumia. And so we must interrogate.
Very well.
So for me, I think it is even Ghana has said and Africa that culture
of resignation.
Exactly. Fair enough. You have say, oh dear, you have not done anything. So oh yeah, no, of course, you can count that, but I'm saying it is a bad culture. We are going forward. So it is a bad culture. The moment negative balance, whether you have a very credible excuse for it, the best rationalization for it. Then
all our finance ministers in the history of this republic, since 1992, none of them ought to have stayed. Because we've never.
But is that
always been negative?
Is that the benchmark?
Always had a fiscal deficit.
Of course, that is why we have benchmark. So we are saying, I don't think that the benchmark a buy. And what more can say than the different setup? We can say, friends saying
fiscal responsibility. Permission from Parliament.
So you see, that is the difference.
My issue is
that is why I was comparing
to the Bank of Ghana. Very well. Ekosiisen is high Asempa FM. Abafunom many Atik Muhammad wa Kofitonto and Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo. Ono enye economics. Oh, say when you PhD here amount some appreciation. After this short break, I think better break. Yeah, but Juma no say why you ask about won't tell
you. A lot of the time
6:38.
Why you ask about won't tell you? Maybe this here. Ekosiisen Suneha Asempa FM. We are just about wrapping up on the show. And the UEFA Champions League, live commentary. The Real Madrid and Napoli, Immortal Ajakwa, a champion will be taking over pretty shortly. And I think the build up to that big game, Abremo. The match begins at 7 p.m. Ain't you Simabe Num and Akane, sorry, I'm a sports team. No, I take you over. I take Simenum there 1 minute 30 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds.
Okay, my music is in free. Now, it's a new Nipafuphobia or bit stand up to the Minister for Finance. Fiscal dominance is not about individuals, it's about policy clashes. And for the most part, it is a fiscal policy that takes precedence. And you don't need an individual, but it has to be a change in the thinking of the entire government. Say, look, also fiscal dominance took a different shape. Now I say, when government flows its instruments in the, we used to operate this thing called OMO, open market operations, our beton government instrument and our central bank instruments to mop up excess liquidity. Now I buy a ton at the financing budget. So you are using a monetary policy to achieve a fiscal function. Until any individual no, but it has to be a general thinking of government. Say, look, I say a chinchonso, but a different conversation altogether. This is basic to every first year economic student. One of the functions of central bank is a lender of last resort. And you can't lender of last resort now, bro. Just look at it literally. It means the last place to go to is the central bank, and that's exactly what happened. And how do you begrudge a central bank for doing and undertaking one of his functions? And yes, in the process, they were required to inform, have a meeting to set new limits. You can't printing of money now. Among for dream is machine be Debbie. It was just a review of the limits now. You see, when we talk about printing of money in the sense that amount for pese yetiasiana, and the central bank here you. Tisen yesi was Zimbabwe, what they did say they were no longer credit worthy. No mudika. And udika there, I mean, when you have huge deficits, either you borrow or you print money. Until it got to a point they monetized their debt, Until what they did say my print is that's how come it became worthless. Ghana's currency is not worthless. A woman said issues of inflation and so on and so forth. But and it is because we are not printing money, we are merely reviewing the limits to which our government, central bank can lend to government. Yes. And now to force an air car about one of the reasons they collapse the financial sector because of the cleanup. He was on the central bank board when those banks were misbehaving. What was here? All the banks that went under the signs were there when they were in office, when he was serving on that board. They don't when government even approved money for injections. Banks
liquidity support
no. Then they see but what did they do to prevent the misuse of liquidity injections? No. I I didn't say Obiaba. I disagree with them where they went about the cleanup, but it needed to be done. There were some banks that could be saved. At that point, I have made it and I keep making it. But I know said there was no crisis for us to deal with. Now, Nyunkrofo, who superintended over the crisis, and I said, those who came to attempt a cleanup, no, rather mum, so moko. No, why you not truly was say now can be? Because if you are serving on the board, that's the highest decision making bank decision body of the bank.
Okay.
Now banks are going under liquidity injections on at the end of the day, you are blaming somebody for it. And yeah, I
think we'll continue.
Now, maybe at the next meeting, we'll do a simple correlation between inflation and money supply. Yeah, decided to settle that debate. And not necessarily the case of printing man. But now, Okaba investor confidence. You are careful, no.
Now,
said this. I disagree hugely.
But quickly, Ato forcing. I don't know Bank of Ghana building no Wasamka. I don't know
nobody could have said anything.
Come on, no board in this one. Obiba Thomas has 30 million. We can even talk about MDC executives and almost Obubeton as Asiama Bank of Ghana for 5 acres for 30 billion.
You can't pick and choose.
They say under
you can't have
when say under their time, they even advanced money to a seller. So but once I see they due diligence who say they had to advance money to the seller.
Mostly deliberate now to force an anchor.
Deliberate.
Spoke about
that's where his focus was.
Okay.
Lastly, no, Mr. Commercial Bank and the Bank of Ghana no have credibility issues. Bank of Ghana,
merely reviewing your lending limits. No. The executive, it constitutes a crisis situation for investors.
But that Bank of Ghana is in crisis. It is not really a
problem. Yes. 2019 Bank of Ghana profit.
Yes.
2020 profit.
Yes.
2021 profit. 2022 and the time of Munya. Lastly, Obi Sosu. Sosu
No, I think somebody needs to petition the privileges committee.
For some no kind. They were bad. I've listened to them. I know on sober reflection by himself he
should either apologize or
a bit too far.
Time and yes, I'm not capable bisa mediatic our ben economy so far. Essay and say a friend saying a Bank of Ghana explanation of my a fan do drum sika fa do na a haircut no na absorb
the bonds
a haircut now a buying any Bank of Ghana will say between apprentice pacho almost my apprentice
I saw
mine. I then you go through the deep the
literal sense of printing money.
Who doesn't understand?
2 against 1.
Whatever the case, it is money from somewhere. And I buy a friend a Bank of Ghana. No. Instead of say a friend saying a buy no able to ask or my slash and answer me what that's a basic understanding. And I make us a Bank of Ghana.
It's me
the full sum. I'll bet me absorb
and I buy this can be
I don't now or my for a core how mu DD pension for or my pension ekita a friend blackers no when your money now my man can see you say
immortal
new Bank of Ghana building it was part part of the demonstration. It is on record say NDC and CNC Bank of Ghana new head of SPI. It is on record.